Hi everyone, this is Lorena Freya, and welcome to Journey into Witchcraft.
In this episode, we're going to discuss the second element in witchcraft, air. We will be discussing folklore, correspondences, deities, nature spirits, altar ideas, and spell work associated with the element of air. Much of the folklore surrounding the air element has to do with weather magic and wind. In Greek folklore, there are 4 winds with each of them corresponding to the cardinal directions. They call this anemoi. These cardinal directions were the children of Eos, who is the goddess of dawn, and Aeolus, who is the keeper of the winds. Now, in the north wind, we have their first son, Boreas, who was also the bringer of cold air, so think winter. A princess of Athens named Arethusa refused to marry Boreas, so he ended up stealing her and bringing her up to the clouds and marrying her anyways. They bore 2 sons and 2 daughters. Boreas was then on called upon for protection and when being attacked by the neighboring kingdoms. It is said that Boreas sank 400 Persian ships that threatened Athens. After this, a cult developed to worship Boreas and to call upon him to take down their enemies. Boreas has a Roman equivalent as well, named Aquilo, where he is called the god of the winter winds. The second son of Eos and Aeolus is Zephyrus, or otherwise known as Zephyr. He is considered the god of the west wind. He is the gentlest of the winds, blowing in spring and warmer weather. He has many folklore stories of him being in relationships with both men and women. These relationships make him known as a fertility god. The god of the south wind is Notus. He is associated with the hot winds of summer that blow in after the summer solstice. He brings late summer storms, destroying crops in his wake. The god of the east is Eurus. He is believed to be responsible for the turbulent winds during storms at sea. Appeasing him would leave safe trips on sea. Seafarers would place protection charms on their ships to ward off ill will. Aeolus was just as popular as his 4 sons. He provided Odysseus and his men shelter for a month, then provided a gentle westerly wind to carry them home to Aeacia. When parting, he gave Odysseus an oxhide bag of all the winds other than the west to ensure a safe trip home. Odysseus, getting tired after a long trip, fell asleep, and his crew ended up opening this bag, and they released the destructive winds of the north, east, and south. The winds carried them right back to Aeolus, who then refused to help them further, claiming that their voyage was cursed. The idea of capturing winds in bags is still practiced by witches throughout Europe. They tie these bags closed with a series of knots. The winds are said to be controlled by tightening or loosening these knots. In other traditions, air is associated with breath, the life giver. There are certain superstitions about breath, such as you must hold your breath when passing a cemetery to avoid spirits from entering your body. I know you've heard that one. In multiple cultures, there is a tale of a night hag who is said to be a demon who will sit on your chest and take your breath away, which now can be equated to sleep paralysis. It's also believed in some cultures that cats can take an infant's breath away by lying on their chest and giving them what's called the kiss of death. In modern times, air is associated with wisdom, logic, and knowledge. Air is considered a masculine element. It's ruled by the planets Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion and travel. It's also associated with the spirits of the East. As stated in the Earth Element episode, each minor arcana of the tarot deck is associated with an element. For air, wands are the major arcana suit. When it comes to the zodiacs, air is associated with Gemini, a mutable air sign associated with communication, short trips, creativity, and self-confidence. Libra, a cardinal air sign associated with justice and love. And Aquarius, a fixed air sign associated with creativity, friendship, freedom, intuition, and meditation. The colors yellow, gold, white, light blue, and pastels are associated with air. Symbols of air include feathers, wands, staffs, incense, censers, pins, brooms, bells, swords, the sky, wind, clouds, breeze, breath, and wind chimes. Some of the deities that are associated with air are Zeus, the Greek god of the sky, Iridia, the Wiccan great goddess and queen of the witches, Nut, the Egyptian sky goddess, Thoth, the Egyptian god of the moon, sacred text, mathematics, sciences, magic, messenger and recorder of deities, master of knowledge, and patron of scribes. Urania, the Greek goddess of astronomy and stars. Cardea, the Roman goddess of the hinge. She protects evil from entering doorways. Enlil, the Mesopotamian god of the wind, air, earth, and storms. Shu, Egyptian god of the air and supporter of the sky. Arianrod, the Celtic goddess of fertility, rebirth, and weaver of the cosmic time and fate. Some people also refer to her as the star goddess. Hermes, the Greek herald of the gods. He is the protector of human heralds, travelers, thieves, merchants, and orators. Morrigan, the Irish goddess of death. Mercury, the Greek god of financial gain, commerce, eloquence, messages, communication, divination, travelers, boundaries, luck, trickery, and thieves. And Aeolus and his 4 sons are also associated with air. The element of air also corresponds to a few nature spirits, such as winged fairies, who are the caretakers of nature. Some also say that fairies are the spirits of the dead. Most seem to live near humans, but are separate from them. That is, they live on Earth, but are not in the same dimension as humans. Fairies are neither good nor bad. Working with them is considered advanced, and you really need to be careful. You can learn from the Fae, but they can also trick you if you encounter a mischievous Fae. If you're a beginner to the Fae world, start by learning about the brownies, pixies, elves, dryads, Seelie Court, and Unseelie Court. Please note that the only winged fairies are pixies and devas. There are fairies of every element, however. There are also the spirit guides. There are 7 of them, actually. Your first one is the ancestral guides, whether it be from your bloodline or the mighty dead. An example of the mighty dead would be Merlin. They help guide you through life. You'll feel their loving presence in times of sorrow and darkness when you need someone the most. They'll also protect and guide your children. Everyone also has at least one animal spirit guide. Animal spirit guide messengers bring messages at a particular moment in life and then disappear. Now, your spirit or animal spirit guide guardian, however, stays with you your entire life. You may have dreams of them often. You also have your ascended masters that stay with you your entire life. These masters have transcended their earthly incarnations. Some examples of ascended masters would be Isis, Osiris, Buddha, and Jesus. It all depends on your belief system. The next type is your lifelong guardian. This guardian shows up in your dreams and meditations to lead you in the right direction. You may also have an elemental spirit guide. Examples of these include dragons, mermaids, sprites, pixies, selkies, etc. You may also encounter an angelic spirit guide. These angels come from a higher spiritual dimension. Some people call it heaven. They swoop in when dangerous events happen to us. They might also come when we have nightmares. You can call upon the archangels for many things. There is one more type of spirit guide, the story beings. These guides are rarer than the others. These are beings from another solar system, planet, or dimension. They typically help people who have starseed origins. These beings will help you ascend your planet. And finally, we have the sylphs. A sylph does not take on a physical form. They are seen as wispy fancies, similar to clouds. Kind of like how Merida in Brave follows the wisps to the witch's cottage. Some people say that they see flurries of light and color. They are considered to be very mischievous. They cause winds and shapes of clouds. They also help the plants and flowers grow. They are also considered the carriers of breath. Working with sylphs is all about intention. You can invoke them by using breath work in your rituals. And there are a few other types of air elementals, but these are the most common ones. If you'd like to start an air element altar, here are a list of different tools that you can place on there. Balloons, bells, besoms, bubbles, censer, dandelion seeds, feathers, floating lanterns, flute, harp, incense, kites, pinwheel, perfume, quills, ribbons, scarves, smoke, wand, weather vane, whistles, wind chimes, wings, images of birds, dragonflies, butterflies, fairies, or angels, and a silver, white, yellow, or light blue altar cloth. Some of the best spell work for air magic would include smoke cleansing, releasing into the wind, manifesting into the wind, spell jars, potpourri, dandelion wishes, movements such as yoga or Pilates, or workouts in general, really, thought, communication, inspiration, wisdom, mental work, study, physical grace, and acquiring knowledge. So this concludes my Element of Air episode. If you like this episode, go ahead and give me a follow. I am also available on Instagram at Lorena Freya. I have Facebook, Journey into Witchcraft Podcast. I have a Twitter at Lorena Freya. TikTok at Lorena Freya. And I also do have a Patreon. It's $5 a month. And you actually get access to my entire grimoire, as well as some cool rituals that we do as a group. We even do movie night. So if you're interested in that, that's patreon.com/journey into witchcraft. I do have a blog transcription of this podcast episode. It is on lorenafreya.wordpress.com. And some news, I am actually currently working on a new website with my own domain. It's journeyintowitchcraft.org. And I am going to actually have a shop on there. So if you're interested in some witchy goods, it's going to be opening soon. Thanks for listening.